And for more on the topic now, we're joined by 24 News London correspondent Jonathan Sacerdoti. Jonathan, thanks for being with us.
Good to be with you.
First of all, Obama made a splash weighing in on the Brexit referendum. Has he helped or hurt the movement to stay in the EU?
It's not clear what the direct effect of Obama's intervention will be, because of course it does bolster the campaign to stay in the EU, to have the President of the United States come and say in no uncertain terms that he believes that it would be bad for Britain to leave. However, there's been something of a backlash on the leave side as well, with people saying that he shouldn't be interfering in this matter, which is for the British people to decide. And plenty have pointed out that in the past, Obama himself has been against foreign nations involving themselves in elections in the United States. One good example is when he perceived Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, as interfering in the US presidential elections 4 years ago when he met with Mitt Romney, who visited Israel. And similarly, people have been calling out his specific mention of the idea that Britain will be at the back of the queue for any trade deal if Britain does leave the EU. People have pointed out that queue is, of course, the English word for what the Americans tend to call a line, and they say that David Cameron's office clearly wrote this line, and he was doing this as a favour to Cameron. So there's been plenty of discussion and controversy over this intervention and over whose words Mr. Obama was actually speaking.
Let's talk about the president in general here somewhat. How was he received in the UK? I mean, in a way, starting his goodbye tour after nearly 8 years as president.
That's right. Well, this was a very carefully orchestrated photo opportunity as well. So all of the coverage of him with that crowd of young people you saw there in the report and his speech, all proving very good optics for his final leg of his presidency. People are saying in some ways he's a lame duck, but in other ways he's still the leader of the free world, and what he says goes down well. He was seen there speaking to a large audience of young people, something he's been keen to do throughout his presidency, whether it's in the Middle East, whether it's in Israel, specifically in Egypt, and now also in the UK, urging the young to have faith and to take bold decisions like staying in the EU, as he puts it.
Is there any other thing that stood out to you about Obama's visit to the UK?
Well, people back home in America will have been watching his visit, and what they really wanted to see were the pictures of him having lunch with the Queen the day after her 90th birthday, and even meeting young Prince George in his night robe before he went to bed. He was allowed to stay up late just so that he could meet the outgoing US president. Those sorts of visuals would have played very well back in the United States, where really his discussion of what Britain should do in the upcoming referendum will have played a second billing to this sort of picture.
Well, thank you very much, Jonathan Sacerdoti in London.